Hey guys, Marmalade here, and thanks for joining me for episode 3 of post PCT Q A questions. So these are questions that came from you. If you have some questions specifically about the PCT, and now that I finished it, anything about certain towns or gear or any of the mental, emotional side, that kind of stuff, please don't hesitate to ask in the description box below. But let's get on right with it. Our first question is from Cheryl the Horse Chick. She asked, as an older hiker, I saw you do 25 milers, which is 25 miles a day. Do you get stronger? So of course you do. I haven't done any of these long trails all together. This year was my longest stretch of almost 1,000 miles. My first year was about 900 miles. So I've done a couple long stretches. But what I've read and understand about through hikes is, of course you get stronger. For me, it's leaning down. I just get my trail legs, which means you're used to doing it every day and your body starts taking a beating. It's used to it. But there's kind of a, depending on the length of a trail or the difficulty of a trail, there's a weird thing where, you start maybe not in the greatest shape, hopefully you do, but if you don't, you hike yourself into shape, and then for the biggest, maybe 2/3 of the hike, you're in great shape. For me, I could see if I did a whole trail all in one year, my main problem would be losing too much weight because I lose my appetite, and I do eat a lot in towns, but I lose my appetite on trail. So if I could find some magic meals that I love eating and eat more on trail, that would help me out. Or eat more fat content kind of items. That would help retain the weight. But I've heard that a lot of people, the last quarter to third of the hike, you get to a point where you've become strong, you lean down, you get in great hiking shape, but your body eventually, after a while, takes, after taking the beating and the day-to-day strain that your body takes doing this, starts to wear down. And so even if you don't have injuries, you just get tired, and your body's just like, okay, I've done enough. I'm done. So it just what I've heard is the last quarter to a third of the hike becomes much more physically demanding. You're mentally tough by then, but it's just physically demanding. All right, question number 2 is from Snowbird Gardner North, and he or she asked, "What are your plans now for when the euphoria wears off from finishing? Are you going to keep hiking? Do other trails? Are you going to move to one of the little towns along the PCT and start a business? Cater to hikers, or become a full-time trail angel, or sell hiking and camping equipment online?" So that's a lot of questions, but it's a great question. So I've got some tentative plans for next year. For me, I told you that since I'm not in the corporate world, I don't make the money I used to make, and I could never get the time off to hike anyway. I work 2 jobs to be able to, 2 quote-unquote regular jobs to save the money. So really, when I get done hiking every summer, even these 5 years that I was finishing the PCT, I have to start saving right away because I don't make a lot of money. So I have to work 2 jobs, work all the time. Some of my money's gone to some, things besides saving for that. I've got my bills and my expenses down low, but I've had some major dental work done for the last 2 years, and I still have another year to go. I've just been spreading it out. So that costs, a few $1,000s, and I got a new laptop last year that I needed desperately. But I'm now having medical issues, and it could cost me a lot of money. I don't know yet. I've shared that I've had a hernia. I'll just be honest with you guys. I got the results back, and it's a guy that my doctor's a guy that he's a younger doctor, but he doesn't hike, but he knows what the PCT is, and because he's not a hiker, he thinks it's impossible to do and thinks it's incredible. So he was amazed at my age, at 61, I finished it. So that made me feel good. But when he comes in with I had a CT scan for my hernia, he goes, "Well, you're obviously an overachiever because you did the PCT, but you don't have one, you have 3 hernias." So I don't have any pain in the other 2 areas, the other side of the groin. I have one side of my groin is where it hurts. The other side doesn't hurt yet, and he said my lower abdomen, but they're already tearing and starting to go. So when I have surgery, unfortunately, I'm going to have it all fixed, which in a weird way is good because he was saying if I fix one, then I might have to go in there later when the other 2 go if I didn't check it first, and then have to fix those, so just more time. And theoretically, if the surgery's done right, I'll be golden and I won't have to worry about this anymore. But yeah, it's been tough being in pain since about the start of August, and some days are better than others, but it's more than anything, it's keeping me from hiking and getting out there being physical, which is what I love doing. So I'm working on visiting a doctor for this hernia soon, and then we're going to talk about surgery and figure out the timeline. Some other things came up with my health screening and my blood test, and some of it's not so great, so I'm going to choose to keep it private, but Could potentially be not a big thing, or could potentially be something big. So it's a bit stressful, but I'm choosing to be positive. I'm planning. I have, to answer your question, I have a couple plans. One, I've been telling you for a long time, I want to go nomadic. So one of my goals was to start next summer, maybe um, becoming nomadic if I can save enough money and go and try it for a year. But I don't know if that's going to work yet. If I have enough money saved, if I have a lot of medical bills and things like that, either physically not able to go, or financially, then I might have to wait another year. I just don't like doing that at my age because I don't have a lot of younger years to do it before I feel like I'm going to be too old. So that's tough for me. Let me read what else you have. So right now I don't have plans to move somewhere. I do want to move somewhere. I want to get out of here. I live in the San Diego area. If you just saw it, San Diego just recently, a few weeks ago, was voted the most expensive city in the whole United States to live in. And it's true. We're not only taxed like crazy in California, but the cost of everything is insane. So um, I do want to get out of here, but I want to do things in the order. Like if I do go nomadic, that'll solve the problem. And actually being nomadic will help me kind of inspect and kind of go see other towns and see if it's somewhere I want to move and see if there's opportunity to be there. I will try to be a trail angel as much as I can in my area in San Diego. There's other possibilities I have to be one, and I will share that with you if it comes true. So there are things I do want to give back. I feel like everybody does a longer hike, no matter if it's our trail or the AT. If you live in that area, you should give back and give back to the community. And a lot of the trail angels you see are people who have done sections or the whole trail, and so they love the trail and they want to give back, and they're proud of the trail. So right now, I don't think I would sell hiking equipment. I do come from a sales background, corporate sales, so I wouldn't mind being like a sales rep for a company. But I want to work remotely. I don't, I could. It's okay to have a home base, but I want to be able to travel and work remotely. If I could do that, and say on the weekends, if I'm traveling, go hike and explore, that would fill my wanderlust, my needs for wanderlust. So I hope that answers the question. That was a lot of questions, but yeah, I have a lot of plans, and the main thing is trying to juggle what order to do them in. All right, number 3 is by somebody special, Shanks Mayer. He is one that sent me this incredible resupply box this summer. We got to hang out at Trail Days, the PCT Trail Days, and I consider him a friend. So thank you for the question. It's taken me a while to answer, so I apologize. But now that you have finished the PCT, are you going to do more van life videos? How, if at all, is your channel going to change? So it is going to change. I'm getting ready to maybe do some more SUV and car and van life videos. I don't live in a van, but the kind of the message and the information I want to share goes with all that kind of living when it comes to how you live on the road. So I do want to do that. My channel has been growing a lot. It's probably 50% interest in backpacking and 50% because I live in my car and I'm living in my SUV. I'm different than most of the SUVers. So like I can't make as many videos living the SUV life because I'm just living in my neighborhood, and I DoorDash in my area, and I drive to work, my regular job. And so I just live in my area. I bring you along with me when I go on adventures, and trust me, I wish I could do an adventure every day, and hopefully I'll get to that point. But I am going to do, I will always, as long as I'm hiking and backpacking and getting new gear, I'll be sharing that with you. I love sharing my knowledge and my passion with you. I am going to start doing more car and SUV videos. I have an idea for a series of videos. It's what's helped grow my channel, and I know it's there's a portion of my followers that don't care anything about backpacking, and they want to know about SUV and car life and what that's like, and get kind of educated on what's out there and how to do it and what I experience and that kind of stuff. So yeah, it'll change that way. If I do nomadic life, Shanks Mayer, if I do nomadic life, which I'm planning on doing, I have plans for the channel. It's not going to change in a bad way, but I'll have the adventures that I go hike. I'm going to go to other places and hike and go explore new places. I want to bring to you more of almost like a biography kind of video where it's not about me, but I might even like just do a voiceover, but just show like some historical things and some really incredible things, and give you the stats and what year it was built, and maybe old gold mines and things like that. So I want to bring you so I'll do a series that's like that, that's more educational and more like I said, not a biography, but a documentary. Sorry, documentary. And I want to do van, car, and SUV like tours, show you how people are living. I think that's really interesting, and that's where I learn about how I want to do my van and my car, is by watching other people's videos and seeing it in person. So I thought that'd be interesting. It probably lastly, I follow a couple of people that do this, and they do a video almost every day. Sometimes they combine a couple days, but they're putting out videos all the time. But they're showing their every single day life, like what they do. Sometimes it's interesting, sometimes it's not, but it's what they're doing and what they're experiencing and where they're going. And if they ran an errand and they met somebody interesting and they did this and that, it's just like I'm gonna probably call it the day in the life, and it's just about what I do on an everyday basis. I watch a couple people, and once you connect with them and you like their personality and their style of filming, it's really fun to catch up with them and see what's going on. Some people I watch every one of them. Some people I watch every like fourth one or whatever. But I like to keep up to date. I think it'll be interesting for you guys to follow along too, as I travel and see new places. So that's how. That's how the channel will change a little bit, but a lot of it's going to be the same, but some of it's going to phase more into some car videos and SUV life and living in your car. All right, our fourth and final question for this video is actually from another person who sent an amazing box to me this summer, Larry and Kathy Bevins. He asked, Kathy and I will be snowboarding from Highway 90, which is Snoqualmie. If you guys watched my videos, that was my last stop before I finished at Stevens Pass. So in northern Washington, Highway 90, Snoqualmie, and we're going south to Nice Edge, which is Goat Rocks also, to Trout Lake, and then finishing at Cascade Locks. All in the month of September. Given the direction, mileage, potential weather, and temps, what would be your top 3 suggestions and tips? Okay, so my number 1 tip was the earlier to the start of August you go, or into August you start, and the less of September you hike in, the better. If you saw my last video, I finished on August 30th, and it poured and it poured, and it got super cold. Not that it would happen to you, it might be warm, but as end of August comes in September, it starts to rain, and it's cold and cloudy and miserable. So I know you probably already have a set schedule, but if you can start even 2 days earlier or 10 days earlier, whatever, the more into August you can start, I think the more fun you have. The benefit for you, though, you are going south, so the more south you go, the more away from Canada you go, so fractionally better the weather gets. All right, number 2, and this happened to, well, I don't know if it happened to me because I had my trail legs, but plan on going less mileage and slower than you think. Not only because, you're going to be breaking in your body and your gear, and I know you guys are around my age, but you don't have your trail legs yet. But northern Washington is very steep, full of a lot of rocks, but it's very steep and very tough. And so, I did 25, 27-mile days, and my last day was 30. But it's only because I've been hiking for 2 straight months. But and I really was wanting to get the thing done. And I also had it was behind, so I had to catch up on mileage. For you guys, you're going to be just plan on going slower and less miles. The bummer of that is in the end, if you extrapolate that to when you get to Cascade Locks, that's more time, probably a day or two more. If you do 3 miles or less a day than you thought you were going to do every single day, that's like, if it's 10 days, that's 30 miles you're short. So you can see where you would end up more days out there and more chances of getting caught in the weather. Because I do know it rains a lot, even in Cascade Locks, and snows there, so a lot. So I would say the main thing is plan on your miles conservatively. If you do more, that's good. The negative to that too is you're carrying more weight in food, because you're not going to, like if I can do a 100-mile section in 4 days, I only have to carry 4 days of food, where it might take you 6. So you're going to have to carry more weight, which makes it more physically demanding for you. All right, number 3, I have a bunch of things written down for you. Number 1 is make sure you have good quality rain gear. The thing I learned this year is I've been, in the desert, it doesn't rain that much. If it's really bad weather, I don't go out there. But if it's raining, and even this year, I had a Frog Togs ultralight jacket. It's good for just light rain and stuff, but it poured and poured and poured. And on my last day, it's funny, my last day is when I got the most rain, but it poured on us, and I was soaked through and drenched within 20, 30 minutes. So 13 hours later, when I finished, or 12 and a half hours, I was drenched. The only good thing was we were hiking very fast to get 30 miles in, and that kept me semi-warm and comfortable. But make sure you have good quality rain gear. That's important. I would also maybe invest, if you don't already have it, get the UL umbrella, the ultralight one. It's a chrome one. They have things that strap onto your shoulder strap. You can strap on your umbrella to it. I just think that would help keep your core dry. Obviously, if it's really overgrown and brushy or really windy, those don't work. But I would definitely look into getting one of those and just keep the rain off you, because I think, even good rain gear soaks through eventually. So if you can keep most of it off of you during the day, I think you're going to be a much happier person. All right, I can tell you towards the end, it started getting colder and colder at night, and so make sure you have warm, base layers when you're hiking. Let's say good rain gear, a beanie, gloves, things like that. Maybe a pair of waterproof gloves. You could bring waterproof socks if you want, but enough change of socks, and then something to change into to sleep in when you're at night, so you're dry. it's super, super important that you can, you don't get into any kind of hyperthermic situation, as you know, by just going and not have anything dry to change into. So that's another thing I was thinking about that would be very important for you. All right, that's all I can think about for that. If you think of any other questions about that, Larry and Kathy, let me know. The main thing, like I said, is you're hiking away from the Canadian border, so theoretically the weather's not as harsh as you get away. So as you go south, you'll hopefully walk away a little bit from that. But September's a tough one because it could even snow on you. But for the most part, you'll have cold nights and you could have some wet days. But man, is it beautiful up there! And Washington is my favorite part of the whole trail, including the Sierras. Sierras is a very close second, but Northern Washington is just amazing. All right, guys, that's it. That's all 4 questions. Thanks so much. Appreciate it. If you have some questions, leave them down below. We have enough questions for one more video for sure. And if you enjoy what you're watching, consider subscribing. Hit the like button. It really helps. It's all free. Even hit the notification bell, I think in the upper right here, so you can be notified every time I post a new video. If you would like to help support the channel, there's great ways to do it, as low as even $2 or $3 a month. You can sign up for my Patreon page. It's down below also. You can do a one-time donation on PayPal, things like that. You can go to my Amazon store and buy some gear, maybe buy some stuff for Christmas, and I'll get a little piece of that, and it doesn't cost you any extra. And I have an updated merch site that I showed my hat in my last video. If you want to get some things for some of your family members for Christmas, it's a good time to do it. It's mid-November, so you get it in time. I ordered my hats, and it came in literally less than a week, like 4 or 5 days, and it said it would take 2 weeks, so I was surprised. But that's it. Just please subscribe and like if you haven't already. It's free. It helps support the channel and help it grow. And until next time, we'll definitely see you down the trail.